Hello. I realized upon further inspection of my channel that I forgot to do a part 2 to the Warrior book video, where I said I was gonna go over the parts I didn't like. If I did do that, I did a lot of takes of that video. Um, Today it's much the same. So, this book, there's a lot I like about it, but there are some things I do have an issue with. I stated some of them in my other video, such as the comparison of Israel. That's not to say that there's nothing we can't learn from Israel. Yeah. The Israelis' war against the British should be something to study, to see the lessons of it. However, with how Israel developed, I believe that the Haudenosaunee should position themselves not as the Israelis but as the Palestinians, as history will show. That the Israel is more akin to the US or Canada than it is to the Haudenosaunee. Actually, Israel is nothing like the Haudenosaunee. That is true. That is one gripe I have with this book. That's not to say I hate this book. I love it. I like it. But I do not think that that the Iroquois people should be comparing themselves to Israel. When in truth we are nothing like them. We are not like them. Another issue I have with this book, I don't believe any of this is at the fault of the writer or the people who said it. I believe it is said I believe they simply do not understand the situation, particularly the criticisms, such as taking inspiration from Israel. It is my belief that they simply do not understand or do not comprehend Israel, because not a lot of people know the history of Israel, especially Haudenosaunee people. At the time it was written, this was written before the war today, but at the time it was written, there was a lot of ignorance in terms of how Israel and the Palestinians were in relation with each other. Thankfully, that has started to be amended. People are seeing now, more and more often, that the Palestinians, it is not the Israelis that should be supported. My second gripe is its criticisms of communism out of the old trope of the idea that while it does do a pretty good job at getting rid of fascism and at criticizing fascism and capitalism as one and the same, because fascism is merely the end point of capitalism. It is the stage in which capital becomes the central dominant feature of any society. It is basically the final stage of capitalism. That's what fascism is. And they do a good job in the book of criticizing both capitalism and fascism. However, the criticisms of the idea of socialist and communist is in truth one of ignorance, because at least Engels, one of the fathers of communism, he was heavily inspired by the Haudenosaunee way of life. A lot of things that he wrote, he wrote them because he was inspired by the Haudenosaunee. So those are some gripes I have. Oh yeah, and the nuclear thing. I do not think the sabotage of nuclear power plants is a good idea, simply because it'll cause a meltdown and infect the land. And so while I think the Indians should take back the land by any means, as the book says, I do not think that is a means that should be traveled, particularly the nuclear one, because that radiation will simply poison the land and make it inhospitable for millennia. And let's be honest, the Indians do not have a millennia to wait. That's all from this one. I think this is my longest video, but those are the things I don't like about this book. That is not to say I hate this book. I like this book. I think I think you should read it. It's a pretty good book, but keep in mind that there are some things that could be criticized about it. Just like all books, just like all ideas. But the overwhelming majority of it's pretty okay, pretty good. It's just a very minority part of it, a very minor part, is should be criticized. However, overall, I give it good scores. Watch my other video, my first video on this, if you want to see my rating. If I'm pretty sure I did do a rating in that one. But that's it for this one. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Remember to comment too, bastards. You ain't commenting. It's I'm just joking. I'm joking.